Discussions in this show should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult with your investment professional before making important investment decisions. And now, Financial Renaissance with the M's. One.
And we are back with Financial Renaissance with the M's. I am your host, Emma Folks, certified financial planner by day and the defender of the middle class in the lower 99 by night and on the weekends. That's right. You are listening to me live on ssnatl.com, and you can watch us live on Facebook if you go to facebook.com/notdumbdown. Go ahead and share this show with a friend, someone that you know that needs to understand a little bit about how to choose the right tax preparer. And if you have a comment that you'd like to make, you can text us at 678-613-5857, or if you're watching me live on my Facebook page, you can go ahead and drop a comment in there, and on the Sensation Station Network Facebook page, you can drop a comment in there and we will see it. In the studio, I have with me Jaye Meggs, the nonprofit organizer, CEO, and founder of Trans Gentlemen of Excellence. Welcome, Jay.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. You really wanted to be here today, didn't you?
I sure did.
Wow. So tell us a little bit, tell us about you. Where are you from?
I am originally born in New York, but raised in Virginia.
New York, what part of New York?
Queens.
Queens, New York?
Yeah.
What part of Queens?
I know nothing about it. I was just born there.
What? I'm from
Yeah.
Queens. Well, I lived in Queens, so you got to find out where for me.
I definitely
All
got
right,
you.
okay. So New York is in the house, or you represent Virginia. So what brought you down to Atlanta?
Honestly, it was my nephew. I was really close to him. And then when I got here, it was just like, it was so many things to do. I had to stay.
All right, it wasn't Freaknik, right?
No,
You're too young for that.
I think I was.
You're too young for Freaknik. So what is the Trans Gentlemen of Excellence Incorporated?
So that is a Black trans-led organization by the way of, how do I explain? We pretty much service everyone, but it's led by a bunch of Black trans males.
Okay.
Giving out resources and workshops, give-backs, honestly, to the community.
And trans male means transitioning to male, correct?
FTM, female to male.
Female to male. Yeah, Jay spent about an hour with me in a nightclub one night and a cell phone explaining to me the LGBTQIA and all the alphabet, because I was just kind of out of sorts, and Jay was very patient with me and let me ask all types of questions and get some really, really decent answers. So I appreciate the work that you do. But you and I were actually on a board together for the Gentlemen's Foundation. That's how we met. And I think the first time I met you, I wanted to take your shoes from you.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's 5.5.
Yeah, I know. I had asked you what size and realized your feet were actually smaller than mine, so I couldn't take your shoes.
Well,
but
thank God.
They were adorable.
Wow.
So what are some of the resources? What does the Trans Gentlemen of Excellence, what do you do?
Okay, so we give out resources that are not actually easy to be found for trans men, and as well as we do give backs. One of the resources is we help people find HRT, which is the hormone replacement, testosterone, as well as the estrogen for some of the females.
Okay.
We help shelter females with that, which is another organization.
What do you mean
here.
Shelter? Housing?
Yeah, because a lot of situations with the LGBT mainly hit hard with trans. Not only do you tell your parents you're gay, but then you tell them, look, I was born in the wrong body. So like parents actually push children out, or either children choose to leave because of not quite getting accepted, constantly misgendered, and not supported.
Okay.
So a lot of them live on the streets or couch surfing. 9 times out of 10, they'll probably be riding a martyr majority of the time, which is also dangerous.
You mean to live?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I thought that was just in New York City. I didn't know they did that.
No, some of them actually do sex work to survive.
Okay, so MARTA, for those of you outside of Atlanta, MARTA is the mass transportation system that we have. It has an acronym. It stands for something else, but we won't go into that. So what are some of the givebacks that the Trans Gentlemen of Excellence organization, what are you giving back?
So we do the back to school drive just like everyone
Okay.
else, but we do it differently. We knock out the third parties. We no longer give our supplies to an
Like a
corporate situation. Yeah.
Okay.
We actually go into the shelters or either find those families that need those items. We legit, one time we went to Greenbrier Mall and stood outside there and like asked families like, do you need school supplies? This, that, and third. They took the backpacks full of supplies.
Oh, wow.
Care packages for the individuals that are homeless. We choose to give back and make sure that we're developing individuals to leave that situation, so we don't feed the homeless unless we partner with someone else.
Okay.
We gave care packages for hygiene and just to maintain themselves like upon the streets.
You know Erica Wright?
Yes, I do.
Okay, just making sure I didn't need to make that connection.
Okay, that's still a great connection.
Yeah.
I worked with her on
Okay.
one of the love packages.
Okay, yeah, I'm waiting for Erica to be a guest on the show. You know, she's
amazing.
busy.
That is true.
She's busy. Every time I'm ready for her to be on the show, somebody comes and picks her up and throws her in another country to do some good. So I'm waiting patiently. I'm waiting
I
patiently.
mean, she's actually doing the work.
She is doing the work, and you're doing some great work.
Man.
You know, are you getting national attention?
No, not at all.
Regional?
Not at all. Well, I'm working on that.
You're working on
That's
that.
the progress.
So, what is the one thing you want people to know? You know, there's a lot of fears out there. You know, you may be in the wrong bathroom, and kids may be in the bathroom with you, and you may turn other people. Are you going to turn me into a guy?
No,
Is that
no, no.
I don't want to be a guy. Like, what is the deal with that?
So, majority of the issues with the bathroom situation is towards trans women.
Okay.
It's not so much towards the trans guys.
Okay.
We transition more smoothly than the trans women, but yeah, that's an issue in different states where they're banding and fighting against us having our rights, period. When it comes to using a bathroom, they are very much so the absolute worst.
You know, I found out that whole bathroom thing was a ploy for someone who was looking to run for office.
Wow.
And they were looking for a way to kind of get some momentum behind them, and the thing that they were able to jump on was transgender. So there was no real deep-seated fear. It was like literally propaganda, because there was a right-wing person, and I won't say the person's name, who was trying to make a name for themselves, and that's what they decided to do.
I definitely need to talk to you offline about that.
Yeah, we'll have to talk offline about that, but it is a horrible, horrible thing. You know,
we get picked on a lot.
Yes, and there's a lot of death. There's a whole lot of stuff that happens in the trans community that I think we need to know about. The bottom line is, let people be people. People are not trying to turn your children into something that they're not. People are not trying to turn your sexuality into something that you don't want it to be. All we're asking for is for you to be open and understanding. And from an economic standpoint, there is a lot of money that is lost in our country because of isms. Okay, and a lot of these isms have to do with ignorance, right? So whether it's racism, womanism, ageism, you know, homophobia is isms, you know, it is today.
Okay.
any type of ism that we have in our country is really, really hurting us, and we're losing. You know, China is spanking the pants off of us. They haven't been in a war since 1979. Our country has been in existence since 1776. And in that time period, we have only not been fighting a war for 16 years. So we're taking all of the money that we could use for programs and funding and education and infrastructure and, you know, technology. Was one wish that you had, or one message, well, I'm sure there's lots, that you would want to, like, let's say you were talking to someone that was on the right, very conservative here in the South, that just doesn't understand. What would you say to them? What would your message to them be about the trans community?
Man, my motto, we are more than our transition. There are people downrange that would save your life and you wouldn't know that they're trans. There's teachers which I feel like should be getting paid so much more than
that's
athletes.
That's a whole other story.
Without their educational gift, we wouldn't be where we are today. We have firefighters, we have bankers, engineers that are trans, and we just want to normalize everything because we live in the same world, and half the time they wouldn't know that we're trans if they weren't so focused on our personal
and
business.
this isn't anything new. The whole point, this isn't anything new. This has been happening. I mean, there have been LGBTQ and trans people in our world for centuries, thousands of years. And if you look at some of the hieroglyphics in Egypt, you will see two men and then facing each other, which means that they're a couple. Anytime you see people facing each other in hieroglyphics, that means that they're a couple. And then outside, you'll see their kids, and then outside of them, you'll see women. That means they had women, they had the babies with the women, but the two men were a couple, or the two women were a couple. So it's more of a European construct that kind of started this, and to make it even a little bit bigger, it's more of a British construct that makes this homosexuality thing like such a taboo. But it's just the British, and then it just kind of filtered in throughout the world. So what is one thing that you would like to accomplish by tell us about the work that you're doing, because you're giving me a little piece, and full disclosure, Jay's not feeling great today, and he still made it here today. He crawled. He's literally crawling, laying on the back seat of the car being driven to make sure he got here today. So what is one thing that you would like to accomplish by some of the work that you're doing?
I would definitely like to educate as many people as I can, remove the individuals off of the street that don't have the resources to better themselves. Like, for instance, homeless, I want to be able to give them the clothes and the hygiene kits that will help them get an interview, help individual families that don't know about programs that help them learn about credit and stock markets, certain things that will help economically develop individuals. My goal is to make sure that we are not selling ourselves short, because one thing that I've learned is if you want someone not to know anything, put it in a book. So I'm going to make sure that you don't have to read that book. I'm going to tell you what's in that book and where you can read further to better yourself.
Translator.
Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, and we're in this age where people's attention spans are like that of a goldfish. They say so. To actually sit down and try to read a book is pretty painful. But there's a lot of knowledge there. It drives me crazy. But I was raised with my mom was a scientist. Blah blah blah. So if I said something, I had to prove it. But I had to old school, go to the library. If I came up with something crazy, I had to prove it. Nowadays, your library is in your pocket.
Google.
Right? It's on your phone. So there's so many resources that are available out there. And one of the things that I like about what you're doing is it's good to give people stuff, but I believe in teaching people how to fish, right? And there are a lot of people who don't want people on welfare and on the, the government teat or on the state teat and things like that. But you have to give them the resources to be able to provide for themselves. Job skills is extremely important. There's an organization called Higher Hope. I did they were here late last year. They take, people who were victims of sex trafficking, people who were homeless, things like that, and they put them through a program where they give them the skills and then eventually an internship and then eventually job placement.
I need them.
Yes, you do. Just so that they can get back out there in the workforce. The jobs numbers came out in our country and they don't look very good. Our unemployment numbers are down, but people are underemployed. We're not making enough money to pay our bills. Everyone is I shouldn't say everyone, the majority of Americans are about $400 away from being on the streets. Okay. And in this country, that's mind-boggling to me. We have everything in this country. My family came here with nothing, built up what we have. And for me, I always look at America as a place of hope. You know what I mean? And change, and we should be able to accomplish anything that we want to. And just seeing a lot of the homelessness on the streets is it bothers me. It absolutely bothers me. Listen, when we come back on Financial Renaissance with the M's, we're going to continue with my guest Jaye Meggs when we come back in 300 seconds. And we are back with Financial Renaissance with the M. Listen, you can follow me on the social media. On Twitter, you can follow me at Financial Ren. And at Emma Knows Money on Facebook and IG, you can follow me at Emma Knows Money and also Financial Renaissance. And on YouTube, search Emma Knows Money, and I need you to subscribe. I need another 100 subscribers. So go to YouTube, search for Emma Knows Money, and subscribe for your girl. All right. We are here with Jaye Meggs, who is the CEO and founder of Trans Gentlemen of Excellence, LLC, or Inc. Incorporated. Yes, it is very long. And, before the break, we had kind of touched on the bathroom scandal, and that that was a hoax. That was just for someone who wanted to run for office and they needed something to kind of get behind it. It was just after they passed the marriage equality bill, so it was just something else to grab onto since the marriage thing flew out of their hands. But I'd like you to do something for my listeners, and I'd like you to have the same patience you had with Patrina and I in the nightclub. Can you talk about the acronyms? It's a whole alphabet now, and you kind of you schooled me a little bit. So let's talk about the acronyms: LGBTQIBCDEF. What are they? Okay,
so the L is for lesbians.
Okay.
The B is for bi. The G is for gays. T is for trans.
Now gay. So this is also a generational thing. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the generation above me, so the baby boomers, for them, the word gay included everybody. Mm-hmm. Okay. So nowadays, gay is just
males.
Men. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we've got bisexual, which could be men or women. Mm-hmm. We've got gay, which is just men. Mm-hmm. Lesbians, which is in theory
Girls.
Just women,
Yes.
right? Okay, so we have L, G, B, and then T for the trans.
See, T is a gender. It's not a sexuality. So that's where we are often left out. Trans is not a sexuality. There are trans guys that love other trans guys, or trans guys that date trans women, trans guys that date gay men, or either cis men, like straight men.
Right.
So that is the confusion in the community.
So T is a what?
A gender.
T is a gender?
Yes. Transitioning. You're either
okay.
Binary, which is you don't conform to any gender, and then non-binary. Non-binary is where you don't conform to no gender, and then binary is you're a trans woman or you're a trans man.
So here's the letter that really bugged me was the Q. So queer, so queer in my generation was almost a cuss word. So people used to fight. It was like the F word, right? That people used to use back in the day. So if you called someone queer, those were like fighting words. Today, what does queer mean?
Queer, this is just my opinion.
Okay.
Queer is just like actually your freeness. You're choosing to do what you would like. Honestly, queer is just...
Is that like gender fluidity?
Gender fluid, yes.
Is that what queer means?
To my opinion.
Oh, thank you. I got something right. Okay. So.
That is actually my opinion. Once again,
okay.
Queer is actually, I see a lot of individuals that are gay men, trans people. Some individuals identify as queer.
Okay.
So it's honestly, it is a sexuality.
What is I?
I don't know.
Wasn't that intersex?
I would believe so.
Patrina's saying yes. Okay. I'm not sure what that is either. All right. When we come back on Financial Renaissance with the M's, we're going to talk about the money movement workshop that Jay is hosting this week, starring me, when we come back in 300 seconds. And we are back live with Financial Renaissance with the M's. You are watching me, Emma Folks, and our guest, Jaye Meggs. You are listening to us live on ssnatl.com or sensationstationnetwork.com. You can also watch us live in the studio at facebook.com. Just go to Sensation Station Network's Facebook page, hit like, and then you can see the show in all of its full production value. If you have any comments, feel free to text us at 678-613-5857. All right, Jay, I appreciate your honesty and candor. Listen, I always have a lot of questions, and I appreciate people that I can ask questions of, people that can be extremely honest with me. And as like I told you, being in a nightclub, which really wasn't the place for the conversation,
It was a good
but it was the time I needed it in my life. So, I know as a trans person, there are tons of questions that people ask you, right, that you may not necessarily want to answer. And not just you, but a lot of transgender people that we have. So what are some of the questions that you wish people would stop asking you?
About our genitals.
Oh,
We don't want to talk about, like, our meeting you is like a first date. I shouldn't have to talk about what I have in my pants or in my shirt. Like, that's as well as trans women. Those things are off limits.
so
Like,
no asking questions about genitalia.
yes.
Okay, so you hear that? Don't ask a trans person. What questions can they ask?
My pronouns. Ask me what my pronouns are.
Okay, and what are your pronouns?
My pronouns are he, him, and they, and them.
He, him, they. You can't do that.
Yeah.
No.
But I don't go into space and be like, my pronouns are going to be they, them, and he and him. So answer to all those. I will legitly be good at he and him. I choose to the they and them because in the non-binary world, it's so many things I can relate to.
See, non-binary. There you go with those words again. All right. So
Dang.
my pronouns are she, her, hers.
Yes.
That's right. It's not difficult. She, her, hers. Got it. All right. So let's talk about this workshop that we're doing.
This is going to be an amazing workshop. Honestly, a lot of people want to know about financial literacy. So it's a beginner's class for individuals to start knowing budgeting, to start the year off great with budgeting, learning about their credit and how to build it. There's always a turnaround. You do not always have to go towards bankruptcy, and then bankruptcy is not always a bad thing. There's good things towards that as well. Just educating on the things that are not put out there for us.
Well, bankruptcy isn't like people like it used to be. You're not absolved of all of your financial. I mean, it just doesn't work like that. So you're still going to have to pay something. But I will definitely be talking about credit, what you need to do to rebuild your credit. How do you, I guess, if there's stuff on your credit report that's not correct, what you do to get that straightened out. And then how do you check it, keep up with it so that you can, your credit score is important.
Yes.
If you want to borrow money, that credit score is important. The better your credit score, the less you have to pay to borrow other people's money. And that's what it's all about.
I don't think they talk about that enough in high school. So people leave out of there uneducated on how to develop themselves.
Yeah, that, and then knowing the difference between needs and wants and credit cards, and just, we put ourselves into this position because we want to, back in the day, we used to call it keeping up with the Joneses, right?
Yes,
keeping up with the Joneses. So now it's like, what are you seeing this person do in this music video, and what kind of car are they driving, and watch do they have, and things like that. But you may not necessarily be at that tax bracket point. So you don't need to be doing the things that you see other people doing. You need to rock in your lane. I grew up in New York City. I lived in the Bronx for the first 10 years of my life. And, I absolutely hated it because my mother wouldn't let me have the things that I wanted. I wanted Jordache and Nikes and blah, blah, blah. And she wasn't having any of it. She was a foreigner. So she was all about, you wear these jeans from Sears and these Bobo shoes and, you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Mark 5s, things like that.
They lasted.
Well, I don't know about all that. But I don't know about all that. But, it's staying in your lane until it's time to move to advance to the next level. And if you advance to the next level before it's your time, you end up hurting yourself, and that's not what we want to do. I want to also give a shout out to some of the Facebook groups. We have Black Business Owners Connected watching us, and Black Entrepreneurs Network. Thank you also for watching us. What are if people want to attend this workshop, how can they attend?
They can find the flyer on Eventbrite, Money Management Workshop. Follow us also, transgentlemenofexcellence.org. Facebook as well. We have our Instagram. We don't really use our Twitter, but we're working on that.
Well, forget about Twitter. Just Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
And Eventbrite.
Yes, as well as our website.
And how much are the tickets?
The tickets are $5.
Oh, that's not a lot. That's nothing.
As we try to make sure we're educating at an affordable
price.
And then that money, the proceeds go back to our care packages, to the community, as well as any other needs that we come up with in our meetings.
Okay. Question for you. MTF.
Male to female.
FTM.
Female to male.
Question mark, T, question mark. No.
I don't know what that is. That's just a questionable situation.
So what is non-binary?
Non-binary, they do not conform to a gender. They were not able to choose a gender at birth. They were assigned one and did not.
Okay.
Agree.
All right. Yeah, I've still got more questions because that's,
That's one thing we do. Also, we educate on those because I have some non-binaries that know more about that area than I could speak on. So
Okay.
we also host and allow those questions to get asked. You could email us questions and we'll
so you're a resource for the community?
Yes.
Okay, so if people, what is the email address if people want to email?
admin@transgentlemenofexcellence.org, or either you can just go to the website and contact.
Okay,
So
and people can ask the questions that they want to ask. What if they want to donate money to your cause?
you can go to that website as well.
And what's
www.transgentlemenofexcellence.org. We would appreciate that. We fund ourselves.
Aw. Well, thank you, Jay, for being here today. I know this was a tough one. I will see you on what's the date?
The 16th.
Thursday the 16th. Where at?
At Positive Impact.
Where's that?
That is in Decatur off of Church. I can't see that.
523 Church Street in Decatur, Georgia.
Yes.
I don't know the zip code, but yes,
Google.
Can they just show up and pay at the door, or do they have to
honestly,
get
yes, they
tickets? Okay, so yes, if you want to go to a money movement workshop where we'll be talking about credit, what to do to strengthen your credit, what we'll do to get your budget right, the things that you need to do. We're going from the grassroots, from the beginning stages of managing your money. You want to come out to this workshop on January 16th in Decatur, Georgia. See you when we come back after these break.
Cash, scratch, green.